I can't hear myself. There you go. Oh, there you go. On this edition of Breaking Into, I'm talking to a woman who overcame her circumstance to better life in her community and others. Talking to Kimberly next.
You are tuned in to Black Hollywood Lives. Breaking Into.
We're opening the show with a timely song, or timeless song, but also it's timely. I love 70s Marvin Gaye. He was talking about stuff. He really was. And some of the stuff is still going on today. Yeah, what's going on? That's actually the question. Hi, I'm James Lott Jr. You're watching Breaking Into, another edition of our show here on Black Hollywood Live. So glad you can join us today. You can follow me on all social media platforms, or as I call the interwebs. Yeah, the interwebs. James Lott Jr. And my guest today is a former foster child, but she is now a multi-business owner. Then she had a life in the system. Now she's a Hollywood filmmaker. I mean, talk about life change. So beautiful. My guest gives back to her community in several ways through films like The Last Day, 53206, Colorblind. She does stuff through Operation Save Milwaukee. And she's also a private donor for families who are unable to pay for funerals for their fallen loved ones. And when we say fall, I'm using that term loosely because we know what's going on with them. We can talk about that in depth. She's known as the Angel of Darkness. Angel of Darkness. Her latest film was Grandma's House, which is out now. And I want to it's just my honor to talk to Kimberly Zulkowski. How are you?
Hey, James.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
It's my pleasure that you're here. We're going to talk about all kinds of stuff, folks. You can follow us on Twitter at BHL Online. Use the hashtag Breaking Into. I have a Facebook page, Breaking Into. Go there and like it, and you can see this interview and others that are on there, on my shows. All right, girl. Let's get into it.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay, we can cut that now at this point. We want them to hear her. Hear her. We're here. So, okay, first of all, I did not know what's going on in Milwaukee.
Okay.
So I would like you to paint me a small, vivid picture, because I know you can,
Yes.
of your Milwaukee. What's going on?
Well, what's going on in Milwaukee right now needs to be alarming to the entire world. Because in Milwaukee, in the zip code 53206, which is the zip code that I grew up in, we are number one for poverty right now. Wow. We are number one for African American male incarceration. Wow. We are number one for the worst public school system. Wow. And our murder rate is soaring, and we're actually 10 times more likely as an African American to be shot and killed on the streets of Milwaukee than we are on the streets of Chicago. God, that's amazing. Because we have a population of 250,000 minorities in Milwaukee that's steadily dropping. And within that 250,000 population of minorities, over 200,000 of those minorities live below the poverty line. So when you think of Milwaukee, a lot of people think of the Green Bay Packers or the Brewers. But when I think of Milwaukee, I think of my community and how we're struggling. And we need to bring awareness so that we can bring change to this community.
Why did I not know about Milwaukee? This part of Milwaukee.
Many people don't know what goes on in Milwaukee. It doesn't get the national news and attention that it needs. And hopefully with people like myself, we will bring the national attention that we need to have. But usually it's just swept under the rug. Last week, we had a police officer.
Let's talk about that. Tell me.
Shoot and kill a civilian who was sleeping in his car in the park. His name is Jay, and we need justice for Jay. And our prayers go out to Jay and his family. But he was sleeping in the park, and the officer shot into the window 12 times, killing this innocent man. And we have heard about the other two shootings on the internet, on Facebook. They've been all over. Yeah. But Jay has gotten no national coverage like that, and his family has received no justice. The police have not released the footage of the body cam or the recordings from the police car. So we don't understand why Milwaukee doesn't receive the same national attention that other cities in crises are receiving, because we are in a crisis also
Yeah.
there. But I'm going to keep speaking on it. And not only am I going to keep speaking on it, I am going to make a film about it.
Oh, good. Okay, good.
And that film is called 53206. Okay. And that is where we address and talk about the things that no one wants to talk about. And that's the violence in our community and how we are killing each other at an alarming rate. Our children are not even safe anymore. We buried a 9-year-old 3 weeks ago from a gunshot wound to the head. That should never happen.
No.
So 53206 is going to take you through the day in a life living in the 53206 zip code. We're going to get very, very in depth.
Good.
And we're going to expose some things, and we're going to let the audience know that this is what's happening in this area, and it is not okay. And not only do I hope to bring awareness, but I also hope to prick the hearts of the gang members and those who are not obeying the law and those who are not, having peace in their hearts and harmony for one another. Hopefully them seeing this projected on a big screen will cause them to want to change as well. So.
Well, you got my support completely, and I will whatever you need, wise it comes to like coverage or anything. I'm here for you.
Thank you.
It was funny because I grew up in South Central Los Angeles, 70s and 80s. It was rough, to say the least. I always say I clawed my way out of there after high school. I lived elsewhere and I came back, and I thought back then it has to get better everywhere else. Because I used to go to New York a lot to visit my family, and it was the 80s, and New York was not good either. And to hear these stories and seeing these cities, it's still not better in some places. It really isn't. And we're talking 30 years later.
Yeah.
That's not good.
All right. And I think that it's worse. And I don't know if it's worse because we have more projection now with Facebook and different media outlets that, as soon as something happens, everyone's tweeting it or putting it on Facebook or, so I think that we do see a lot more than what we would see normally with the social media outlets. However, I think that we're living in a day and age where things are definitely worse, and we have not progressed, even though the media and those powers that be would like you to think that we as a people have progressed. We have not progressed. No. We have not progressed. No. And anytime you can get away at broad daylight with just because you're wearing a uniform, you can shoot and kill. It's murder. Yes. But it's not labeled as murder. They're on administrative paid leave pending investigation. I'm sorry, but that is not progression. No. That's regression. Yeah. And it's time for us to take a stand and tackle these really difficult issues just the way that Martin Luther King did. And those of great who, they fought for a freedom that we get to enjoy to this day. We need to fight for that same freedom so that our children can be safe and enjoy the freedom of just being on the street and not having to worry about being shot and killed by those who are meant to serve and protect.
And I was telling you before we came on, I had an incident that many people know about, my fans didn't know about. I had a SWAT team on me last year. Here in LA on a Sunday. I was shopping, and I was the only black person in the store, and he said a silent alarm went off. But before he said anything, I'll never forget the face of the first officer pointing the rifle at me, screaming to turn up my hands up. Wow. I had one rifle on my back, 2 on the side, and 2 behind them as they searched the place. Everyone else in the store was white, and they were sitting there, and they were just like watching me. And then they were like, okay, they didn't find anything. The guy goes, the alarm went off by accident. There was some glitch in the alarm. And they didn't apologize to me. They even screamed at me again saying, well, you saw us come up to the door. You should have already been ready and turned around. Wow. And I'm like, I'm a grown man who, I don't fit any of those things to try to say that these guys, I'm a regular guy shopping, trying to buy, I think it was a cherry pie or something. And obviously I didn't get it that day. I left. Or a Slurpee or something. I was trying to get something. I was like thirsty or whatever, hungry. And it was one of the scariest things in my entire life. Yeah. But it wasn't the first time I've had something like that. I've been driving while black and while black growing up. But that was the first time in a long time it was that extreme for me. So it can happen. People who think it can't happen to them or always happens in just Milwaukee. No, it can happen You're just trying to illuminate this is happening everywhere.
Yes.
But your city first, but like this could be your city.
Right. This could be your city. 53206 could be your zip code.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody thinks that it won't happen in their backyard, or it doesn't happen here, or, you know, that person must have done something. The problem is that we're already condemning the victims. How is that possible that we are condemning the victims and making excuses for trained officers to kill our people? That is not okay. And it's not okay for any race to do it, you know, and that's another thing is that with Black Lives Matter. Black lives do matter. And yes, all lives matter.
We don't matter,
and I will be the first to say that, you know, but however, if everybody doesn't take a stand, it's not just going to be a Black issue. We need other races. If you are not racist, if you care about the human race, then you will have a rage within you, and you will want to do something just as we have a rage within us, and we want to do something.
I agree. I always say this: when one group stuff's happening to them, another group's just like, well, that's just them, or not, you know, you could be next.
Right.
Seriously, if we let it go out of control, you know, the whole thing happened in Orlando, and I'm like, it's happening to gay folks, but it can happen to you in your neighborhood at some point, your club at some point.
Right.
You know, happening to Black folks, but it can happen to Latinos. It can happen to, I mean, like, it's like everybody's like kind of, like you said, blaming them, blaming other people, or that's just that over there. It's like, no, you're trying to say, seriously, if we don't do anything, it's going to be out of control.
Right.
And you're next.
Yeah, and it's not a race issue per se, as much as it is a heart condition. You know, there is something wrong with the hearts of some people.
Yes, that's true.
And those of us with good hearts, Blacks, whites, Hispanics, everyone, we need to do something about those who do not have good hearts. And I wouldn't care what race they were. If they are a murderer, they're a murderer.
Yeah.
And something needs to be done
agree.
about them.
I agree. But I'm with you on the whole thing. And Blacklight, we all know all lives matter. It's a given. We know that.
Yeah.
But there's a reason why that hashtag is happening.
Right.
There's a reason we're kind of focusing on that at the moment, because it's alarmingly, I mean, it's always been going on, obviously. You and I know that. But it's now really out of control.
Yes. It's really out of control. And anytime you turn on the national news and there it happens again, you know, these officers are not learning or even understanding that you can disarm someone or you can de-escalate a situation without taking a human life. What gives you that right to take a human life? You're supposed to serve and protect. You are not supposed to use that gun to murder.
Right.
That makes you no different than anyone else on the street. The only difference is you're in a uniform.
That's true.
But that doesn't make it okay. And it's going to take we the people to let them know that this is not okay. You are not going to get away with killing us. I'm sorry. It's not okay.
No.
And we need to scream. We need to march. I mean, we need to make such a loud noise about this to where it reaches the White House. And President Obama, I know he listened to your show. He better do something about this.
Yeah.
He has the power to do something about this. Our governors, our mayors, the legislators, the people we put in office that we vote for and we put them in office, they have the ability to do something about this. You know, something has to be done. Now,
I want to do just a counterpoint. I'll make a disclaimer. I have family who are law enforcement, and they're good. There are a lot of good cops there. We totally know that. We're not talking about that per se. Not saying that all police are back or, you know, F the police and all that kind of stuff. We're just saying there's a lot of broken systems in the police departments across the country.
Yes.
And it's being shown. We're seeing it on videotape.
Right.
What's going wrong.
Absolutely. And we are definitely not talking about the good cops.
No, not at all.
I mean, I have the utmost respect for the law. I have the utmost respect for rules and statutes, and all of those things are meant to protect us and keep us safe.
Yes.
But what I am talking about is those officers who step outside of the law. Yep. Those officers who, while in uniform, are committing heinous acts of violence. They're murderers. I could put on a cop uniform and shoot and kill somebody. I'm going to jail 40 to 50 years to life, or even electric chair, depending on what state I live in. And these officers, what's happening to them? Nothing. So that's what we're talking about. We're addressing the bad
Yes.
cops, the bad seeds. But to those who are good cops and who are in an uproar about this also, we commend those cops.
Yes.
And we thank them because we need them to protect our streets. We
Yes.
really do.
No, we do. No, we do. Like, yeah, trust me, I won't be a police officer
Yeah.
at all. Like, the ones who do it, I'm like, my family who do it. My stepdad, my uncles, they were all sheriffs and things, and they were good. And but yes, no, we're talking about broken down systems within there
Yes.
with bad or corrupt or tired or bitter cops that are just like doing whatever the F they want.
Right. And I will say this though, if you consider yourself a good cop, then do something about the bad
I was
ones.
gonna say there's that too.
Okay, because if you don't do something about the bad ones or you don't speak out and you're not enraged, then the blood is on your hands as well.
Yeah, I agree.
So
I totally agree with that. What keeps you sane? After all, like, because you do a lot. We're going to talk about some of your work and stuff, but like,
Okay.
what keeps you? I mean, what keeps you going? I mean, that you're like, okay, I'm okay. I mean, I'm angry and I have other things going, but you have a life and stuff too, also mixed in. So how do you do that?
a whole lot of prayer and knowing that there's a God.
Okay.
I know that there's a God, and I know that the things that happened to me in my childhood, which are some of the most awful things that could ever happen to any child. Things should have never happened to me. That happened to me.
Yeah.
However, I don't believe that those things happened to me in vain. I believe they happened to me so that I could be a voice for foster children. So that I could be a voice for women who have been sexually, physically, mentally abused in their life.
Yeah.
I could be a voice for women who grew up without a father, grew up without a mother, grew up with parents who are addicted to substances.
Yeah.
I feel like I am that voice to let people know that you may be in the darkest of darkest places, but that light is at the end of the tunnel, and you have to fight your way through it. But you will get there, and I'm living proof of that.
You are. I mean, well, you guys, you're not in the room with her. She exudes like greatness. I mean, like just and brightness. You do. And so, because you were a foster child,
Yes.
now I don't know what that would look like or feel like.
Okay.
My last guest was one also, and so I don't know. I mean, can you just kind of just tell me a little bit about what it was like to be on a regular day? You're a foster child. What does that mean?
As a foster child, you never forget you're a foster child.
Okay.
You never forget it. And it's almost like you feel like there's a big sign that you're wearing around your neck that says, I am in foster care. You think the whole world knows it.
Interesting.
And but you don't really understand the system that you're in.
Okay.
As a child, I didn't understand the system. I knew that I was separated from my siblings.
Okay.
And that was very traumatic for me. That was harder for me than being in foster care was the fact that I was separated from my siblings.
Okay.
And I didn't know what was going on with them, if they were safe, if they were suffering, if they were okay. So that's a really difficult thing. It's very traumatic when you're in foster care, and it's embarrassing because you have the court dates, and they're doing school, so the social worker comes to your school, and on the PA they call you to the office, and they don't even have enough tact. I mean, when I was in school, hopefully things have changed now, but they didn't have enough tact to say, to keep it private. It was like, your social worker is here to take you to court.
Oh, God. You're like, okay, bye, thank you. I'll just dissect that frog later.
Right,
Yeah.
and my social worker was not someone who looked like me, so everyone in the office knew. And so you try to cover it up, and at school you try to make it, make yourself seem like you're not in foster care, like you're just like the other kids, until the social worker shows up. So there's a lot of things, a lot of difficult things that go on with being a foster child. The fact that you feel not really wanted and not really a part of the families that you're with, you feel different. And sadly, there are some good foster homes also.
I'm sure.
There are some who make it a point to let you know that you are not part of their family.
Oh my God.
And it's awful.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It's awful, and I recently obtained my foster care record through an open records request.
Okay.
And I don't recommend anyone doing that unless they are really mentally ready
Sure. Oh, I'm sure.
to look at the, what's in black and white written, about your life. But there are some notes in there that stuck out to me that said that, a certain person did not want to adopt because they wanted to keep getting the financial benefits.
Yeah, of course, right.
And it's like, wow, you're just a check to someone. Yeah. You're never anyone's daughter or son.
Right.
You're a paycheck to them, and that's a horrible feeling to feel. And it's just so. With that being said, I want to make sure that children who are in foster care, they feel like they're a part of the families that they're placed with, and that's why I have a foster care agency.
Yeah, right, exactly,
and we have the greatest foster parents. We really do. And you cannot tell the difference between the foster child versus the biological child. Yeah. And we do that on purpose. And we also specialize in sibling placement.
Oh, good.
So we keep our siblings together. And even if we can't keep them in the same home, we keep them in the same agency. Okay. And then those two homes collaborate, and they do a lot of visitation. So
how many siblings did you have?
I'm the second oldest of 12 children.
Everybody, just go. Okay. That is, I thought I had a big family. Okay, well, there you go, kids.
Yes,
okay.
Yes.
So you guys were all placed somewhere else then?
Yes, we were all split up. Split up throughout Milwaukee. Split up throughout the 53206 zip code, which is interesting also. Yeah. And none of us were actually adopted out. So,
oh my God!
Yes. So that permanency, none of us ever really got permanency.
But are you guys in contact now?
Yes, okay. We're in contact now. That could be good or bad, depending on the day.
That's anybody's siblings. There's a few sisters I can do without. Just kidding, I love you. Yes, I understand that. Yes.
But being in foster care affected all of us differently.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And we've talked about that as a family, and we've tried to help each other heal through the process. I've tried to take some of my siblings under my wing and teach them and want them to want a better life.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's ingrained in you that you don't deserve better.
Yeah.
And so they don't seek for better.
Right.
But I keep trying to lead by example.
You do, girl. J.R. Meadows says hello. He's watching. So what kind of parent has that made you?
Oh, my goodness. It has made me, I feel, a great parent. Because I know everything that I didn't have, what I missed out on, what I wanted as a child, I pour all of that into my children. Okay, yeah. And that is what makes me not resent my mother. I actually feel sorry for her because she doesn't understand what it's like to have your children looking up at you with pride and, showing you their artwork and telling you how much they love you and, you having the chance to tuck them in at night, scream like a fool at their soccer games.
Yeah, parents are rough when it comes to their kids on those games.
I'm one of those hardcore soccer moms, okay?
God. Oh, my God. You and my daughter's the same way. I'm like, oh, do I know you? And she's like, come on, Scarlett, come on, hit that girl, get her. I'm like, she's 9.
Yes, I act a fool, and I will go on the field and hit another little kid if I have to, okay?
Oh, yes, I know you parents. I know you very well. Yes.
I'm that one, and I'm not ashamed of it either.
That's right. You own it. That's right. But, yeah, so basically you become the parent you didn't have.
I became the parent I didn't have, yes.
Isn't that amazing?
Yes, it is. It is, and I love it. I wouldn't trade being a mom for anything. Yeah. Being a mom is my first job. Yes. That's number one. Yeah. My kids are my life. Yeah. And I love them so much, and it's very recently that they even started to know and understand that mom was in foster care, and mom came from this part of town. I just started taking them to see their roots because this is a part of them.
Yes.
And they really got a rude awakening when we walked the streets where I used to live, and I actually took them to the food pantry and the homeless shelter where me and my siblings used to get meals. Wow. And I picked my daughter up because she couldn't see through the window. So I picked her up and I showed her through the window and I said, down those steps is a big room and everybody eats there, but you got to stand in line and you got to get in line early. Otherwise the adults will push you out and you're not going to eat that day. And so they're like, what, Mom, what?
They have no idea.
Mom, But I thought it was important to teach them that, mom's success came at a price. I didn't just wake up like this.
No,
I worked very hard to get where I am. And even though the baton is going to be passed to them someday, I want them to never take it for granted. I want them to know that all of this came at a price, and I worked hard to give them the life that they have. So I want them to appreciate that.
I always tell my kids all the time, and my grandkids, that I carry my ancestry on my shoulders, and it's not heavy.
Right.
It's not heavy. I mean, they're with me. The lessons I learned from my grandparents and all the others who let me have a TV show today where I get to talk to you,
Yes.
I don't take for granted.
Right.
And it's just, they're always with me. So it's just, it's like a blanket. And I keep hearing them say, okay, James, get that guest on that has something to say that's meaningful. It's fun to joke around every once in a while and have some kiki and have fun and all that. But, it's something that actually has some substance, too. Like, I'm reminded of that.
Yes.
And I seem like you're going to do something for your kids, too. Like, let them know they're going to hear your voice. For the rest of their lives, you're going to hear your voice in there and say, okay, come on. Are you doing something that's meaningful?
Right.
That's a great thing. When do you sleep?
Where do I sleep?
When do you sleep? I hope you sleep. I hope you sleep if you're at home and you're in the house. But I'm like,
you're getting a little too personal. I'm married.
I need it because people want to talk about me, how I have many projects going on. They go, how do you sleep? And I'm thinking, you too, girl. How do you sleep?
Well, I do some of my best work at night.
Okay.
I really, really do. I love to write at night when my children are sleeping. There's just so many thoughts that come, such peace and tranquility at night when the whole house is sleeping.
Oh, yes.
So I'm that night person.
Yes.
And it's a good thing that I am my own boss because I don't go into work till 12 or 1 in the afternoon.
Look, off camera. Let me see if that's true, everybody. Yes. Okay, yes.
I would literally be fired because I would never get there at 8 a.m. I'm sorry, it's not happening. So I always knew that I had to be my own boss.
Yeah. Because you always knew? That's so funny. Okay, you're like, yeah.
Like, no one, I can't punch a clock. I can't do it.
Oh, that's so funny.
I'd be fired.
That's so smart, though. Actually, that's really smart because you know.
Yes.
And you found a way.
Yes.
Okay, folks, you can find a way to make it happen. If you know what your strengths and weaknesses are, you can find a way around them.
You can find a way. My very first business was an ice cream truck. That was my
first
business. Yes. It was called Kimmy Z's Ice Cream.
I like it. That's so
That's
cute.
right. Push pops in the house.
I love push pops. Oh my God. It's my childhood. I love it. Oh, that's so funny.
Yes, I actually I was on the city bus and I saw a mail truck graveyard. There was just all these mail trucks.
Oh my God.
And I got off at the next stop and I walked back down and I said, what do you guys do with these mail trucks? Because I was tired of being on the bus. I would have drove a mail truck. Okay. and the guy said, well, we sell them. And I said, really? And I said, yeah. He said, yeah, we sell them. And I said, well, could I get two? Like one for parts and one just in case it was a graveyard. So, they weren't in the best condition. And he said, yeah. So I ended up buying 2 mail trucks for about $400.
Wow.
And I made magnets with the ice cream, ice cream labels. And I went to Radio Shack. Remember, Radio Shack was really popular.
Yes, it was.
So I went to Radio Shack and I got like one of those black blowhorns and I recorded children's songs on them.
Oh, that's so smart. Oh my God.
Yeah, and then I would drive, through the city of Milwaukee and people would be like, that's not a real ice cream truck. It's like, look, you want a push pop or not?
They're like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, okay, we're going. How much is it? Yeah, exactly.
So that was my very, very first business.
I love it. Oh my God.
And it was so fulfilling and rewarding because, little kids would run up to the truck and they would hold out their hand and they would be like, what can I get with this? And they would have like 7 cents, a nickel or, a couple pennies. And I would say, you know what? You can get anything on the side of this truck you want. And that was the first fulfillment of giving back to my community.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, I would go home and I would count all of my money and I would have made so much, even though I gave away so much. Yeah. We gave away so much and I would have made so much. It was incredible.
Yeah.
And that was the moment when I felt it was better to give than to receive.
So we found a way to do two things you want, which is giving back and making money.
Yes.
And being your own boss. Well, three things. Being your own boss. You found a way to intertwine it together.
Yes.
That's smart.
Mm-hmm. And I've been doing it ever since.
I know you have, girl. You've been doing it a lot. I'm trying to myself. I'm trying to work it out.
Well, you need an ice cream truck first.
I know. It sounds good though. Actually,
that's the way. That's the first thing to do. If anybody asks me, that's what you need to do first. Okay.
I eat it all myself. I don't.
You can't just become a producer. You can't just become a lawyer. You need to get an ice cream truck first.
Man, I learned when I was younger. It's crazy. I love it. Now we're going to change gears just for a second because you do. I won't say you do. You do films.
I do.
I'm professional. I'm professional. I swear it. You do films, and we're going to show the trailer to one of your latest called Grandma's House.
All right.
It's a short trailer.
Things are between us right now, honey.
I just need you to stay here with your grandmother, okay?
Baby, this too is gonna pass.
Just really miss my mom. I just need a little bit more time.
How did it go down at the store?
Mama, ain't nobody hiring a felon.
A lot of people think life is more complicated than it is. You got to give the kind of love you want to get.
Okay, so we're talking Loretta Devine, Flex Alexander. I met Wendy Raquel Robinson not too long ago. I loved her. Her energy was just like amazing. Coco Jones, my girl Jasmine Lewis, who I just had on the show last week, who's great. What a great film. So this is based on a true story, right?
Yes, it is. It is based on my grandmother, Marjorie Harris.
Hey, Marjorie Harris. That's right.
Yes. And I wanted to dedicate my first movie to her.
Okay.
Because she was the one who instilled love in me. She was the first person to ever tell me that she loved me, that I was loved. I'd never heard those words before until my grandmother said them to me, and I was 14.
Was that when you first met her at 14? Or did you, because you were in foster care, so
I was in foster care. I knew of my grandmother, knew of certain people, but yes, that was when I was finally placed with her.
Father's mother, mother's mother?
My mother's mother, my maternal grandmother.
Okay.
Yes.
So she told you she loved you.
She did.
Powerful thing.
And yes, and I'll never forget that that day.
Right.
And even though I came to her, I was a handful.
I'm sure. Girl, teenager. Oh my God, I raised two of them. Oh my God.
Hard to believe, I know.
I know. You're sweet and innocent now, so I can't even believe any of that stuff.
I never got suspended from school, got into fights, none of that stuff. No, that's somebody else.
Yes.
But she had her work cut out for her when they placed me with her.
Yeah.
She really did. And she took on that challenge. And she was a servant to her community, a pillar in the community. She was a devout member in church, and she was always helping someone. Wow. And even though she was extremely poor, I'm talking making tables out of the milk crates. Wow. And you throw some fabric on it and you put a lamp on top of it.
I've done that. Okay. I've done that.
This is the poor that we were. Yeah. However, she always found a way to help someone else.
Yeah.
I mean, she would literally give the clothes off of her back if someone needed them. And I never understood that because it's like, okay, we don't have anything. Why are you giving them the last chicken in the freezer? And she never drove. We walked everywhere. Wow. We walked everywhere, and we walked to the hospitals, and she would go into the hospitals, and she would pray for everyone, people that we didn't even know. And, at 14, it's just like, oh, my goodness, my grandma's so boring. This is ridiculous. Yes. Like, this lady don't have a life. She need a man. So the things that she was doing, they were sinking in.
Yeah, obviously, yes.
But at the time, it was just so god-awful boring.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
And I thought that she did not have a life. Those were my thoughts, But as I grew up and I learned what she was doing, and she was preparing me for the role that I'm in. She was preparing me to be a servant as well. And she did an amazing job at it.
I'll tell you, no offense to anybody else's racist mothers or anything. Mm-hmm. I look at black mothers, black grandmothers, black great grandmothers, black aunties. I just think black women are some of the strongest women in the world. Mm-hmm. I do. Not just I'm black, but I just think they are. Some of the things that black women have had to go through through life. I mean, all blacks have to go through stuff, but black women especially.
Yeah.
That through adversity, through challenges, they keep their heads up high and they work it out.
Yes, yes. And as my grandmother went through so much, and I never saw her cry.
That's amazing.
I never saw her.
I cry all the time.
Yeah, give up.
Yeah.
You know, she always made a way out of no way.
Yeah.
You know, we couldn't pay the electric bill. We'd be sitting in the dark, and she'd light the candles, and she'd just be humming gospel hymns. And I'm like, what are you humming about? We are sitting in the dark right now. But she never complained about those things. So I found it only fitting and right to honor her with this movie. And she loved to sing. She wrote songs. Yeah. So actually some of her songs are in the movie.
Wow.
And she would always say, I want the world to sing my songs. I want the world to sing my songs. And now they are.
You're a good granddaughter. You are. I love grandparents. I mean, I'm a grandparent myself, but I love my grandparents. I've always been very close to all of them. And I've lost most of them. I only have a couple left. But I just love grandparents are so important.
They are so important. And you really think that they're strict. But that is the greatest love that you're going to get from anybody, is that straightforward love, that no nonsense love. Yes. I mean, my grandmother was not afraid to tell you about yourself, but she would do it in this strict, stern, yet loving way. Yeah. And what I see now, I don't see grandmothers like the grandmothers of old. Yeah. They're not in your business. They're not in your face. Yeah. I mean, my grandmother walked into the middle of gang fights, and she was not afraid, you know, to get in your face and in your business. And now, you know, there's grandmothers at the club because they're with the kids and the daughter, because they're all a couple years apart.
Exactly.
and you know, that generation is just lost. We've lost in. It's just, it's really sad.
I have a grandmother who I see when I go to New York and Brooklyn. Hey, Grand Susie, who's I call her my homegirl. She's my homegirl. She'll tell me in a second, you know, wow, I haven't seen you in a while. Wow, you gained some weight and everything. But then she'll have every food that I want she's had made for me. I'm like, you just called me fat, basically, but you made all my favorites. And of course I'm going to eat it. If I don't eat it, I'll, you know. But you know, that goes on, and she's very, very straightforward. Island girl from the West Indies, New Yorker, just like right at you. But then I'll get a card saying, I saw your TV show yesterday and it was so good. I love you. So it's like it is that old school way of just, you know, talking about you, calling you names, whatever. But then like, I mean, lovingly kind of, but right. But then it's also that encouragement. Yes. That we don't get that much anymore from people.
Right.
You broke the cycle, girl. I think you broke the cycle, which is very important. People don't break. Why do you think you are still around? Because there are people who have been in a situation too and are not around anymore. Mm-hmm. Why do you, as you start to look back on things, why do you think you're still here?
Because God's not finished with me yet.
Okay.
He's actually just getting started, to be honest. I like I said before, I know that the things I went through were not in vain. Yeah. They're to help someone out of their struggle, and to pave the way for those who are hurting and who have been through some of the same things that I've been through. I'm basically, in a nutshell, I'm around to help someone else.
Like that.
Yes.
Like that. Now, I asked we're almost done, which is, this is not fair at all.
Oh, no.
Because you just have to come back again and again. Just when you're in 5 each, you just have to come back on the show. Mm-hmm. I have to come to Milwaukee, you got to do all that. But I asked my guests the same 2 questions. Okay. Folks at home, I do not, as you guys watch the show, I don't prep them ahead of time. So I want their answers as now. I believe in language.
Okay.
My grandmother taught me about language and how language can stop you dead in your tracks, or it can also propel you forward, depending on what you're saying, what you're thinking, how you process. Okay, first question.
Okay.
What word in the English language do you think we should take out of our vocabulary? Should not say anymore?
Swag.
Oh, funny. I was like, okay. Elaborate a little bit on that. Why you just tired of that word? Just like or project something that you think is like just not that good. I mean, I love that. That's an original answer. I've never heard that like that.
Is it in there anyway?
Yeah, I like that. That is an original answer. I like that.
I think it's in the Urban Dictionary. Take it out.
Take it out. She's like, I'm done. She's done with that one.
Yeah.
It's like for me, like bae. Don't say bae anymore.
It's overused. I don't want it anymore.
I like that. That's a great. I didn't expect that answer. Okay, so now on the converse, so what word do you think we should start saying more or bringing back into our vocabulary?
Love.
That's a good one. Mm-hmm. We need it.
Yes.
Like we really, it's not cheesy.
No.
Like we really do need it.
Mm-hmm. And people need to not be afraid to tell people they love each other. Men are afraid to say it. Yes. Just families are afraid to say it to
They
each
are.
other. It's like, wait, I love you. I love you, James.
I love you too.
I love you, man.
I love you too. Wait, no, it's just funny. No, but I'm gonna get real just for a second. My mother, I've lost a girl in my life that my mother and I say I love you every time we get off the phone. I may talk to her 5 times that day, and we always say it. And my friend's like, you always say you love her all the time. What's that? I said, because you never know what's going to be last time.
Right.
Plus, I want her to know that. Mm-hmm. Okay, so if I say it 5 times a day, I say it 5 times a day.
Right. It's important. It's a powerful word. It's a short word, and it carries so much power.
Yeah, it does, doesn't
and
it?
it can do so much for a person.
Oh my God, you're absolutely correct.
Mm-hmm.
You're totally correct. Thank you so much. I mean, you affected change in me today, so thank you very much. Thanks for being present and being in this conversation with me.
Well, thank you, and thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
I'm your support now. Whatever you need, I'm going to help out if I can.
Thank you.
And I know you do. We can just talk about these, but you do blessings bags and you do all this kind of stuff. So you'll have to come back on the show again. We'll continue the conversation. You come back to California. Come back to California. Tell people in that camera over there where they can actually find you on social media if they want to talk to you some more.
You can find me on Facebook. I do have a Facebook page, Miss Kim Productions. I also have Instagram and Twitter. And I also have a personal Facebook page. I may or may not accept your friend request, depending on how your profile picture look, okay?
She wants full face, please.
Full face.
I like that. And of course, you can follow us on YouTube and iTunes under Black Hollywood Live under Breaking Into. You can follow us on Facebook at the Breaking Into Facebook page. Like it. You can see all these. This interview will be on there also. You can follow me at James Lott Jr. on all social media platforms. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.
From executives Keven Undergaro, Dario Kristen, Tiana Hobson, and the entire BHL staff, we would like to thank you for supporting Black Hollywood Live, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. For questions and comments, contact us. info@blackhollywoodlive.com. Like us on Facebook, tweet us, or Instagram us at BHL Online. And I am the official voice of Black Hollywood Live, Scipio. Instagram me at KingXOBay. Thanks for tuning in.
The views expressed here are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of BHL or its owners or principals.